and welcome in because what you are about to hear might be the most unintentionally hilarious lecture on operation we have all seen the all year. Tonight we are talking about the Jimmy Kimmel's wife Molly McNerney, an executive producer, a Hollywood insider, a woman with the elite access to every microphone imaginable, standing in a Beverly Hills ballroom packed wall to wall with millionaires, celebrities, and power brokers, solemnly warning America that we are living through a fragile time for freedom of speech. Yes, really. Picture chandeliers, champagne flutes, designer gowns, and thunder applause. And then imagine being told you are witnessing the death of a free speech. You honestly couldn't script satire this good if you are tried. So, guys, now let's slow this down because context matters here. Molly wasn't delivering this emotional monologue from a garage live stream or a dinner in middle America. She wasn't being censored, silenced, deplatformed, or escorted out by the security. She was on a stage at a star-studded Hollywood gala in one of the richest zip codes in the United States, surrounded by celebrities nodding along like bobbleheads in agreement. This is where America's freedom of speech crisis is apparently being fought, not in the courtrooms or town halls, but in Beverly Hills ballrooms with valet parking. And from that throne of privilege, she tells us she naively assumed free speech was guaranteed in this country until recently, not when journalists were blacklisted, not when whistleblowers were crushed, and not when an average American lost jobs for the tweets. No, now. Then comes the stand up routine masquerading as moral outrage. She compares losing free speech to losing her period, turning a constitutional issue into a comedic bit while the audience laughs on cue. She jokes about the menopause, about buying candles instead of reading the articles, about the Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop, all while framing herself as someone who has just awakened to the idea that freedoms can disappear. And then, buried inside the punchlines and applause breaks, comes the real grievance. Not about the Americans being silenced broadly, but about her word being inconvenienced. A television show, co workers, friends, and a man I love, she says, were put on a indefinite suspension after pressure from the president and threats involving the FCC. Suddenly, the alarm bells ring, not because everybody's citizens were targeted, but because Hollywood felt heat. And that's the tell. For years, this same culture mocked people who warned about censorship. They laughed at the concerns over social media bans. They dismissed fears about political targeting as paranoia. They cheered when voices they disliked were removed, shadow banned, or destroyed. But the very moment pressure comes anywhere near their stage, their studios, or their inner circle, it's declared as a national emergency. Now it's a fragile time. Now free speech matters. Now the constitution needs a spotlight. But only because the spotlight flickered in Hollywood. So, guys, that was makes this movement so revealing. Freedom of speech, according to this worldview, isn't about protecting unpopular opinions or dissenting voices. It's about protecting elite platforms from the consequences they are not used to facing. It's not about the truck driver, the small business owner, or the nurse afraid to speak up. It's about the celebrities feeling uncomfortable that political power might pressure their network for once. And the irony is breathtaking, warning America about the censorship while speaking freely, uninterrupted, applauded, and celebrated by the cultural elite. So, guys, when you hear phrases like it is a fragile time for the freedom, remember where those words were spoken and who got to say them. Remember the room, the audience, the power, and the protection. Because real threats to free speech don't come with the standing ovation and designer gowns. They don't come with the national platforms and Apollo's line. And if Hollywood has suddenly discovered that the freedom can disappear, maybe the rest of the America has been right all along. And that's the real takeaway tonight. Not the jokes, not the candles, not the gala. It's the hypocrisy. If free speech only matters when it affects the powerful, then it was never really about the freedom at all. So, guys, thank you so much for joining and listening and staying with me tonight. Stay sharp, stay informed, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys, and I will try and respond almost everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys in the amazing new breakdown on any political topic. Thank you so much for watching.